Welcome to today's episode. If you're new here, this channel is a quiet place for calm science and slow storytelling. Stories designed to be listened to gently, often as the day winds down. And if you genuinely like what I do here, you're always welcome to like the video or subscribe. It helps this work continue slowly and steadily. Tonight, we're going to talk about something you use constantly, but almost never think about. Your eyes. Right now, even if they're closed, they are still part of what shapes your experience. They influence how alert you feel, how safe you feel, how time seems to move. But what's easy to forget is this. Eyes did not always exist. For most of life on Earth, there was no seeing. No color, no shapes, no horizons. There was only light and darkness, passing unnoticed. The world existed, but nothing was aware of it visually. No sunrise was ever witnessed. No movement was tracked. No face was recognized. And then, very slowly, something changed. Not suddenly, not dramatically. Just a tiny patch of cells that reacted differently when light touched them. That small sensitivity would eventually become everything you now experience as sight. Cities, screens, stars, written words, all of it traces back to that quiet beginning. To understand how human eyes evolved, we have to forget how advanced vision feels today. We have to imagine a world where seeing was not yet a sense, but a possibility. Early life did not need images. For simple organisms, survival depended on chemistry and contact, finding nutrients, avoiding harmful environments. Light was present, but it wasn't information yet. Eventually, some cells began responding to light in a very basic way, not by forming images, not by detecting shape, only by sensing brightness. Light meant exposure. Darkness meant safety. This was enough to matter. An organism that could move slightly away from harmful light survived a bit longer. That small advantage repeated itself. Over generations, those light-sensitive cells became more reliable, more specialized. They didn't show the world, they only hinted at it, day or night, open or shaded, safe or exposed. This was the first step toward vision. Not seeing objects, but sensing conditions. Even today, parts of your visual system still work this way. Certain cells in your eyes don't help you see images at all. They help regulate sleep and alertness. They track light levels, not detail. They are ancient. They remember a time before sight was sight. As life became more complex, movement became more important. Predators and prey emerged. Suddenly, knowing where something was mattered more than simply knowing that light existed. This is where vision truly began its long transformation. Light-sensitive cells slowly arranged themselves in clusters. These clusters detected direction, not shape, not color, just where light was stronger or weaker. This allowed organisms to orient themselves, to turn toward light for energy, or away from it for protection. Over vast stretches of time, some of these clusters curved inward. This reduced scattered light. It sharpened direction. This simple cup-shaped structure is still seen in some living animals today. It's not an eye as we imagine it, but it is the beginning of seeing from somewhere. From there, evolution did not plan. It experimented. Tiny changes that helped survival stayed. Those that didn't disappeared. Some lineages developed clearer membranes. Others refined nerve connections. Some began detecting contrast, edges, movement. The world slowly gained structure. And eventually, vision stopped being about light alone. It became about information. In the next part, we'll follow how these early light sensors became true eyes. capable of forming images, capable of shaping behavior. For now, it's enough to know this. Your eyes carry a memory that is older than humanity, older than animals with backbones, older than anything that ever looked at the sky. They began as a quiet sensitivity to light, and they have never stopped adapting since. Once light could be sensed, the next challenge was interpretation. Early organisms did not need images. They needed direction. A slight change in brightness could indicate safety or danger, energy or exposure. But sensing light from all directions at once limited usefulness, so evolution experimented with shape. Light-sensitive cells gradually became recessed. A shallow curve formed. Light from certain angles reached the cells more strongly than others. This simple geometry mattered. It allowed organisms to detect where light was coming from. Not clearly, not sharply, but enough to orient movement, forward or backward, toward shadow or away from it. This change transformed light from a background condition into spatial information. Direction gave light meaning. As these light-sensing cups deepened, something important happened. They began to block scattered light. Instead of light arriving from everywhere, it arrived from a narrower range of angles. Contrast increased. The difference between bright and dark became clearer. Movement became noticeable. A passing shadow now meant something was moving nearby. This was a powerful advantage. It allowed organisms to respond not just to environment, but to other life. Predators and prey entered a new relationship. Seeing did not yet mean recognizing shape. It meant detecting change. Motion against background. This sensitivity to movement is still one of the strongest features of human vision. Your eyes notice motion faster than detail. It's why something moving at the edge of your sight captures attention instantly. That reflex is ancient. Over time, transparent layers formed over these light-sensitive structures. At first, they offered protection. Later, they began to bend light slightly. This bending improved focus. The nervous system began receiving clearer signals, not images yet, but patterns. Brighter here, darker there. Repeated exposure trained neural circuits to interpret these patterns. The brain did not evolve separately from the eye. They evolved together. Each small improvement in the eye created pressure for better interpretation. Each improvement in interpretation favored better sensory input. This feedback loop drove complexity. Eventually, pinhole-like structures emerged. Light entered through a small opening. This produced a rough image, blurry, dim, but spatially organized. For the first time, the world could be mapped visually, not in color, not in fine detail, but in shape and position. Edges existed. Objects could be distinguished from background. This changed behavior. Movement became more precise, avoidance more accurate, approach more intentional. The nervous system learned to link visual input with motor output. Seeing began to guide action. As eyes improved, so did brains. Regions specialized in processing visual information expanded. Pathways became more refined. Timing mattered more. Vision became predictive. The system began anticipating motion rather than reacting to it. This is still how human vision works. Your brain predicts where a moving object will be milliseconds into the future. This allows coordination, catching, avoiding, navigating. All of this rests on ancient circuitry. As eyes diversified across species, different solutions emerged. Some favored wide fields of view. Others favored sharper focus. Some emphasized low light sensitivity. Others specialized in bright environments. Evolution did not aim for perfection. It explored trade-offs. The human eye is one outcome among many. It is not the best at everything, but it is balanced. In the next part, we'll explore how lenses, depth, and sharper focus developed, and how vision became more than detection. For now, light continues shaping meaning. As vision became more useful, clarity began to matter. Detecting light and movement was no longer enough. Distinguishing objects required sharper input. This is where one of the most important developments in visual evolution occurred: the ability to focus light. Early transparent coverings over light-sensitive cells did more than protect. They bent light slightly. At first, this bending was uneven and imprecise, but even small improvements mattered. Light that converged more tightly produced clearer signals. Edges became easier to detect. Contrast improved. Over many generations, natural variation refined these structures. Some membranes became thicker in the center. Others adjusted curvature. Eventually, these structures functioned as lenses. Not glass lenses, but living tissue that shaped light. This transformation changed vision fundamentally. Instead of light simply entering, it could be directed. Images became brighter and more defined. This allowed organisms to judge distance more accurately. Depth perception began to emerge, not as a single innovation, but as a gradual layering of cues. Movement parallax, relative size, overlapping shapes. The nervous system learned to interpret these signals together. Two eyes, placed apart, increased accuracy further. Slight differences between the two images provided information about distance. This binocular vision required precise coordination. Eye muscles evolved to align gaze. Neural circuits synchronized input. The brain learned to merge two perspectives into one experience. This integration is complex and fragile. Even small mismatches can cause discomfort, but when it works, depth feels effortless. Humans rely on this constantly. Pouring water, reaching for objects, navigating uneven ground. These actions depend on fine visual judgment. At the same time, vision became linked to prediction. The nervous system learned not just to see where things are, but where they are going. This reduced reaction time. Instead of waiting for change, the system anticipated it. This predictive aspect of vision is why fast-moving objects still appear stable. Your brain fills in gaps. It smooths motion. It assumes continuity. This assumption is usually correct. It saves energy, but it also reveals an important truth. Vision is not a direct recording of reality. It is an interpretation. The nervous system constructs visual experience from incomplete data. It uses past experience to shape perception. This explains why illusions work, why the same image can be perceived differently depending on context. The eye provides input. The brain creates meaning. As focus improved, so did specialization within the eye. Different regions handled different tasks. Central areas prioritized detail. Peripheral areas prioritized movement. This division optimized survival. You don't need sharp detail everywhere. You need awareness of change. This design remains. Your central vision is precise. Your peripheral vision is sensitive. Together, they create a stable visual field. In the next part, we'll explore how color vision emerged and why humans see the world the way they do. For now, the world comes into focus quietly. For a long time, vision was about brightness and shape, light or dark, near or far, moving or still. Color came much later. At first, light-sensitive cells responded to a narrow range of wavelengths. They did not distinguish color as we experience it now. They simply detected intensity. But sunlight is not uniform. Different wavelengths carry different information. Over time, small genetic variations caused some light-sensitive cells to respond better to slightly different ranges of light. This was not an artistic upgrade. It was practical. Different surfaces reflect light differently. Leaves, water, skin, sky. Being able to detect these differences improved survival. Early color vision likely began with a simple split. One type of cell responded more strongly to shorter wavelengths. Another responded more to longer ones. This allowed basic comparison, not red or blue as labels, just difference. This difference helped organisms distinguish objects from background more reliably. A piece of food against foliage, a predator against the horizon. As these differences became useful, neural circuits evolved to compare them. Color became information. In many animals, color vision expanded dramatically. Some species see ultraviolet light. Others see far more color variation than humans ever will. Evolution does not aim for richness. It aims for usefulness. Human color vision reflects human needs. We evolved in environments where detecting ripe fruit, healthy vegetation, and subtle changes in skin tone mattered. Our color sensitivity reflects this history. We have 3 primary types of color-sensitive cells. This gives us a balanced range, not extreme, not minimal, enough. Color vision also improved recognition. Faces became easier to identify, emotions more readable. Social interaction benefited. Color became tied to meaning. Warmth, freshness, warning. Even today, color influences behavior quietly. Traffic signals, food packaging, natural scenes. The nervous system responds automatically, but it's important to remember this. Color does not exist in the world the way we experience it. Light has wavelength. Color is interpretation. Your brain assigns experience to physical input. This assignment is shaped by evolution and learning. The same wavelength can feel different depending on context. Lighting, surroundings, expectation. This flexibility allows vision to remain stable across changing conditions. The nervous system prioritizes consistency over accuracy. A leaf looks green in shade and sunlight, even though the light reaching your eye is different. This is not a mistake. It is adaptation. As color vision evolved, it integrated seamlessly with shape, depth, and motion. Vision became layered. Brightness, contrast, movement, color. Each layer adds information without overwhelming awareness. This efficiency is key. The nervous system filters aggressively. You do not experience raw data. You experience meaning. In the next part, we'll explore how the eye and brain became deeply connected, and how seeing became inseparable from thinking. For now, the world rests in color. As eyes became more capable, something subtle but important happened. Vision stopped being just a sense. It became a guide for behavior, memory, and decision. The eye and the brain grew together. They did not evolve as separate tools. They evolved as a partnership. Every improvement in visual input created pressure for better interpretation. Every improvement in interpretation made clearer input more valuable. This loop shaped both structures. Inside the brain, regions dedicated to vision expanded. Neural pathways became more layered and specialized. Some areas focused on edges and contrast, others on motion. others on color and form. Vision was no longer processed in one place. It became distributed. This distribution allowed speed. Different features could be processed at the same time. Your brain does not wait to fully analyze an image before responding. It begins responding as soon as partial information arrives. This is why you can react to movement before identifying what moved. Understanding follows detection. Seeing became predictive. Instead of passively receiving images, the nervous system began anticipating what it would see next. This prediction made vision efficient. If the world behaved as expected, fewer resources were needed. Only surprises demanded attention. This is why familiar places feel visually quiet. Your brain already knows what will be there. It fills in details automatically. You see less than you think you do, but you experience completeness. This is not a flaw. It is conservation. The visual system is one of the most energy-demanding systems in the body. Prediction reduces cost. It allows the brain to spend energy where change occurs. This predictive nature explains a strange, everyday experience. Sometimes you look directly at something and still miss it. Not because your eyes failed, but because your brain did not expect it. Expectation shapes perception. The nervous system values continuity. It assumes stability until proven otherwise. This assumption usually works, but it also means vision is influenced by belief and memory. What you have seen before shapes what you see now. As vision became more integrated with memory, recognition improved. Objects could be identified quickly. Faces became especially important. Human eyes evolved sensitivity to fine facial details. Subtle shifts in expression, tiny movements around the eyes and mouth. These signals carry social information, emotion, intent, attention. Seeing another human became a rich experience. The eyes did not just detect faces. They learned to read them. This reading happens fast, often before conscious thought. Your nervous system assesses another person's emotional state in fractions of a second. This assessment influences your own body state. Seeing became interaction. Vision also shaped imagination. The brain could now simulate visual scenes internally, not just recall them, but combine them. This allowed planning, anticipating routes, imagining outcomes. Visual imagination is built on the same circuits as perception. When you picture something, many of the same regions activate. The difference is input. One comes from the eye, the other from memory. This overlap explains why vivid imagination can feel almost real. The nervous system does not fully distinguish source. It distinguishes relevance. As night approaches, visual processing changes. Input decreases. Internal imagery becomes more prominent. The system shifts from monitoring the world to reviewing it. Vision turns inward. In the next part, we'll explore how the structure of the human eye reflects all this history, and how ancient design choices still shape what you see today. For now, seeing continues quietly. If you look closely at the human eye, it carries its history openly, not as a story, but as structure. Every layer reflects a solution that once mattered for survival. The curved surface at the front of the eye bends, light before it ever reaches deeper tissue. This curvature is not precise by design. It is flexible. It adjusts slightly as focus shifts from near to far. This flexibility allows vision to adapt moment by moment. Behind it, the lens fine-tunes clarity. It thickens or flattens subtly, guided by muscles that respond automatically. You don't instruct this process. It happens before you are aware of distance. This automatic focusing is ancient efficiency at work. Light then reaches the retina. This thin layer is not uniform. It is specialized. At the center, a small region prioritizes detail. Here, cells are densely packed. Color discrimination is strongest. This is where reading happens, where fine patterns are resolved. Toward the edges, sensitivity changes, detail decreases. Motion detection improves. This design reflects evolutionary priorities. Sharp detail is useful where attention is directed. Motion matters where threats may appear. The eye does not aim for equality across its field. It aims for balance. Even the placement of nerves reflects history. In humans, nerve fibers pass in front of light-sensitive cells before exiting the eye. This creates a blind spot. You never notice it. The brain fills the gap. This design is not optimal from an engineering perspective. But evolution works with existing structures. It modifies rather than replaces. The blind spot remains because it did not prevent survival. The nervous system adapted around it. This adaptation is important to remember. Evolution does not seek perfection. It seeks adequacy. Good enough, repeated, becomes stable. The eye also contains cells that do not contribute to image formation at all. Some respond only to overall light levels. They help regulate daily rhythms. They inform the brain about time of day. These cells are echoes of early light sensitivity. They link vision to sleep and alertness. Your eyes influence how awake you feel even when you are not looking at anything. This connection is ancient. It predates detailed vision. Throughout the day, the eye continuously adjusts. Pupil size changes. Sensitivity shifts. Neural signals recalibrate. All of this happens without conscious control. The nervous system prioritizes clarity while minimizing effort. At night, the balance shifts. Detail becomes less important. Sensitivity increases. The eye trades precision for awareness. This is why low light feels different. Edges soften. Colors fade. The visual system adapts to preserve function. This adaptability reflects millions of years of negotiation between environment and biology. Seeing is not static. It is responsive. In the next part, we'll explore how vision shaped human behavior and culture, and how seeing influenced how we think about the world itself. For now, the eye continues its quiet adjustments. Once vision became reliable, it began shaping more than survival. It shaped how humans moved, interacted, and understood the world. Seeing allowed anticipation. Paths could be planned, obstacles avoided before contact, resources identified from a distance. This reduced physical risk. Movement became more efficient. Energy could be conserved. Over time, this efficiency supported longer lifespans and more complex behavior. Vision also changed social life. Faces could be recognized from afar. Expressions interpreted quickly. This supported cooperation. Trust, warning, and intent became visible. Human eyes evolved to be especially expressive. The whites of the eyes became more visible than in many other animals. This made gaze direction easier to read. Attention could be shared. Pointing with the eyes became possible. This subtle change had large consequences. Shared attention supported learning. Children could follow an adult's gaze to discover objects. Knowledge transferred without explanation. This visual teaching shaped culture. Tools could be demonstrated. Skills shown rather than described. Imitation accelerated learning. Seeing allowed stories to exist visually. marks on surfaces became symbols. Symbols became writing. Writing extended memory beyond the body. Vision enabled this transformation. It allowed abstract thought to be externalized. The nervous system adapted. Visual areas of the brain began interacting more with language and memory. Seeing and thinking became intertwined. This connection explains why images can evoke strong emotion. A single photograph can recall an entire experience. The visual system triggers memory networks directly. Vision also shaped time perception. Changes in light marked days and seasons. Movement of shadows suggested rhythm. The nervous system learned to associate light patterns with expectation. This association remains. Even today, light influences mood and alertness. Vision is not separate from emotion. It informs it constantly. As humans began creating environments, vision shaped design. Shelter, paths, symbols. These designs, in turn, shaped perception. Straight lines, enclosed spaces, repetition. The visual system adapted to human-made worlds. This adaptation continues. Screens are a recent development. They compress visual information into small spaces. The nervous system responds accordingly. Attention narrows. Processing speeds up. This differs from natural environments. The system adjusts, but at a cost. Understanding this helps explain why natural scenes often feel calming. They match older visual expectations. Depth, variation, gradual change. As night approaches, visual demands decrease. The nervous system shifts reliance to other senses. Sound becomes more prominent. Touch becomes more noticeable. Vision steps back. In the next part, we'll explore how the eye and brain adapt to darkness, and how night vision reflects ancient compromises. For now, behavior continues to reflect sight. Darkness was never meant to erase vision. It was meant to change it. As light fades, the nervous system does not give up on seeing. It reorganizes how vision works. This shift reflects a very old problem. Life does not stop when the sun goes down. Early organisms that could sense even small amounts of light had an advantage. Movement could continue. Threats could still be detected. Orientation remained possible. To support this, the visual system evolved two complementary strategies. One favors detail and color. The other favors sensitivity. In bright conditions, the eye relies more on cells specialized for fine detail and color. These cells provide precision, but they require light. As illumination decreases, another set of cells becomes dominant. These cells are far more sensitive. They respond to very small amounts of light. They do not detect color. They prioritize contrast and motion. This trade-off is deliberate. In darkness, knowing that something moved matters more than knowing its color. The nervous system shifts weighting automatically. You don't decide to switch modes. The transition happens gradually. Colors fade first. Edges soften. Movement remains noticeable. This is why twilight feels visually different. The world loses richness, but gains sensitivity. Your eyes adapt by increasing gain. Signals are amplified. This makes faint light usable, but amplification also increases noise. Visual information becomes less precise. The nervous system accepts this uncertainty. It prefers awareness over accuracy in low light. This compromise is ancient. It allowed survival during long nights. Even today, this adaptation continues. If you remain in darkness, sensitivity increases over time. Not instantly, gradually. Chemical processes regenerate light-sensitive molecules. neural thresholds adjust. The system recalibrates expectations. Dark adaptation is a reminder that vision is not fixed. It responds to context. It negotiates between what is possible and what is useful. Night vision also changes behavior. Movements slow. Caution increases. The nervous system compensates for reduced detail by reducing speed. This balance preserves safety. In darkness, the eyes rely more on peripheral vision. Central detail is less effective. Peripheral areas detect motion more reliably. This is why faint objects are sometimes easier to see when you don't look directly at them. This technique is instinctive. It reflects retinal design. The nervous system uses what works best under current conditions. Darkness also shifts attention inward. With less visual input, internal imagery becomes more noticeable. Thoughts drift, memories surface. This is not accidental. When external monitoring decreases, internal processing increases. The nervous system uses the quieter sensory environment to integrate information. This pattern links darkness with reflection. Throughout human history, night encouraged storytelling. Firelight, shadows, slow movement. Vision became suggestive rather than precise. Imagination filled gaps. This pairing of limited sight and internal imagery shaped culture. Even now, low light invites introspection. As night deepens, the visual system continues to adapt, not to eliminate seeing, but to support a different mode of experience. In the next part, we'll explore how modern vision differs from ancestral vision and how ancient systems respond to contemporary environments. For now, the eyes continue their quiet negotiation with darkness. The human eye evolved in landscapes that changed slowly. Open skies, gradual sunsets, firelight at night. For most of our history, visual input followed predictable rhythms. Brightness rose and fell with the sun. Movement came from animals, wind, and water. Nothing flickered endlessly. Nothing demanded constant focus at close range. The nervous system adapted to this stability. Vision became efficient because the world itself was steady. Modern environments changed this relationship. Artificial light extended the day. Screens compressed vast information into small spaces. Movement became fast, repetitive, and often disconnected from physical space. The eye adapted as it always does. But adaptation has limits. When visual input remains intense for long periods, the nervous system stays alert. Brightness signals daytime. Rapid changes signal importance. Close focus signals task. The system responds accordingly. Muscle tone increases slightly. Attention narrows. Blinking decreases. These responses are not harmful in short bursts. They become taxing when sustained. This is why visual fatigue feels different from physical fatigue. The eyes may feel dry or heavy. The mind may feel restless. The nervous system is maintaining a state that was never meant to last all day. Understanding this reframes discomfort. It is not weakness. It is biology responding as designed. The eye also interacts with posture. Focusing at close distance encourages head and neck positioning that limits movement. This reduces sensory variation. The nervous system receives less information from the body. Attention becomes more rigid. This rigidity affects thought. Ideas feel narrower. Perspective shortens. In contrast, distant viewing encourages movement. Eye muscles relax. Posture shifts. Breathing changes subtly. These changes influence nervous system state. This is why looking out a window can feel refreshing. It restores older visual patterns, depth, variation, unpredictable motion. The system recognizes this as familiar. Color saturation also plays a role. Natural environments contain gradual transitions. Artificial displays often exaggerate contrast. This demands continuous adjustment. The nervous system compensates, but at a cost. Over time, it prioritizes efficiency. It filters more aggressively. This can dull perception, not permanently, but temporarily. Rest restores sensitivity. As night approaches, artificial light delays visual transition. The eyes continue signaling day. Internal rhythms shift later. This mismatch affects rest. The nervous system waits for cues that arrive slowly. Understanding this can change how we interpret alertness at night. The system is not resisting rest. It is responding to light. This awareness invites gentler transitions. Lower brightness, warmer tones, slower movement. These cues speak the language of vision. They echo ancestral patterns. The eye responds quickly to such changes, not because of habit, but because of history. In the next part, we'll explore how vision influences imagination and dreaming, and how the eyes remain involved even when they are closed. For now, ancient eyes continue navigating modern worlds. Even when your eyes are closed, vision does not disappear. The visual system remains active. It simply changes source. Instead of receiving information from light, it draws from memory and imagination. The same neural pathways that process images during waking life are involved when images appear internally. This overlap explains why imagined scenes can feel vivid. The nervous system does not fully separate perception from recall. It distinguishes input, not experience. When external visual input decreases, internal imagery becomes more noticeable. This is not accidental. It reflects how the system reallocates resources. With less demand for monitoring the environment, attention turns inward. Fragments of visual memory surface. Faces, places, colors, movement. These images are not exact recordings. They are reconstructions. The nervous system assembles them from stored elements. This assembly is flexible. Details shift. Scenes blend. Logic loosens. This flexibility supports creativity. It also supports problem solving. By recombining visual elements, the brain explores possibilities without action. This process often continues quietly at night. As the body rests, the visual system reviews patterns, not to analyze them consciously, but to integrate them. This integration influences dreaming. Dreams are not random images. They are expressions of neural activity shaped by memory, emotion, and recent experience. Visual areas remain active. They create scenes without external input. The eye itself is still. The system behind it continues working. This is why dreams feel immersive. They use the same circuits as waking vision. The difference is control. During dreams, the nervous system allows imagery to unfold without correction. Expectation loosens. Prediction relaxes. Scenes change fluidly. This freedom reflects reduced need for accuracy. During rest, precision matters less than integration. Vision contributes to this integration. It links emotion with memory. It associates events with context. By morning, many of these connections fade from awareness, but their effects remain. Understanding deepens. Emotional weight shifts. Perspective adjusts. Seeing without looking also happens briefly during waking life. Daydreaming, visualizing future events, recalling past scenes. These moments rely on the same system. They show that vision is not limited to the eyes. It is a mode of understanding. As night deepens, internal imagery often softens. Scenes become less defined. Colors fade. Movement slows. The nervous system reduces intensity. It prepares for deeper rest. In the next part, we'll explore how all of this leads into sleep itself, and how vision finally steps aside for restoration. For now, images continue quietly behind closed eyes. As rest deepens, vision slowly loosens its hold. Not abruptly, not completely. The nervous system simply changes what it values. During the day, vision dominates perception. It leads decision. It organizes attention. At night, that dominance softens. Other systems take priority. Signals from the body become more important. Internal rhythms guide regulation. The eyes remain present, but their role shifts. Muscles around them relax. Rapid scanning stops. The need to track detail fades. This transition is ancient. Long before artificial light, darkness signaled a change in strategy. Seeing less was not failure. It was efficiency. In low visibility, the nervous system reduced reliance on vision and increased reliance on memory and prediction. Movement slowed. Exploration paused. This conserved energy. Even now, as visual input decreases, the brain reduces processing demand. Visual areas synchronize with slower rhythms. Neural activity becomes more coordinated, not silent, just quieter. This coordination supports repair. Connections used heavily during the day are recalibrated. Others weaken. This rebalancing keeps the system flexible. If vision remained dominant, rest would be shallow. The nervous system needs periods where accuracy and monitoring are no longer required. Night provides this space. It allows the system to step back from interpretation, from categorizing, from labeling. Experience becomes simpler. Darkness helps. Reduced contrast lowers stimulation. Edges blur. The world becomes less demanding. The nervous system recognizes this as safe. This recognition allows deeper downshifting. Vision does not vanish. It becomes background. Internal imagery slows. Scenes dissolve into impressions. Thoughts lose visual sharpness. This fading is not loss. It is preparation. In the final part, we'll bring this long story together. From the first light-sensitive cells to the eyes you use today. Not as an ending, but as continuity. For now, vision rests quietly, still present, but no longer leading. The human eye carries a long memory, not as images, but as structure, rhythm, and response. It began as a simple sensitivity, a quiet reaction to brightness and shadow. Over time, that sensitivity deepened. It learned direction. It learned shape. It learned color. It learned to guide movement, to support connection, to help the nervous system anticipate the world. Every step of this evolution remains present. When your eyes adjust to darkness, when motion catches your attention before detail, when light influences how awake you feel. These are not modern features. They are echoes. Your eyes are not separate from the rest of you. They are an extension of the nervous system, a way for the body to gather information without contact, and they never worked alone. From the beginning, eyes and brain evolved together, each shaping the other. Vision became less about recording reality and more about creating a useful experience of it. What you see is not the world exactly as it is. It is the world as your nervous system has learned to interpret it. This interpretation favors continuity, stability, meaning. It smooths change, it fills gaps, it protects attention. At night, this interpretation relaxes. The eyes step back. The world softens. The system no longer needs sharp edges or precise color. It turns inward. This turning inward is not retreat. It is maintenance. The same system that once learned to sense light now learns from absence, from darkness, from stillness. By morning, the eyes will return to their role. They will adjust. They will focus. They will interpret. They will continue a process that began hundreds of millions of years ago. Nothing needs to be done to support this. The system knows the rhythm, light and dark, attention and rest, seeing and letting go. Your eyes are part of that rhythm, quietly adapting, quietly remembering.